Harry. No, you wanna? I fucked up my intro. Harry does the law potato, and yes, I know I fucked it up, but not the point. This is what if Naruto was the bringer of the apocalypse? Part 1. It's not the 2.5k special. I don't know how many subscribers I have. I'm hoping it just slows down for a while so I can go do my special. But yeah. And also go watch anime. But yeah. But first, let me mention, why am I making this what if? Oh, it's because, potato. And you're probably wondering, what? Nothing. But I know I have other what ifs I might need to do and finish them. Some what ifs might be finishing, what's it called, like, in one more part, like, what if Naruto was a protector? Yes, and that one I'm gonna be finishing it for part 5 because, yeah. Also, if you don't know, I already did part 4, I just haven't uploaded it. So, of course, part 4 will be there, you will get the answer, and part 5 will be finished. You're probably gonna be wondering how you're gonna end it. Oh, that's easy. You just gotta watch part 4 for that shit. But let me go into this what if, okay? Let me make it bigger screen so it looks better. So, let me go into the what if now. So, we go into Naruto. Naruto being born. And of course, well, let me say that again. We go into Naruto being born. The Naruto still happening. 3 children being born. 1 being the oldest. 1 being the middle child. And 1 being the youngest. Now, of course, all 3 of them had, well, blonde hair. Blonde hair and blue eyes. Just like their father and mother. Well, not exactly. Their mother had a kind of purplish eye. Purple eyes, actually, since she's from the Uzumaki. The Uzumaki has purple eyes. And she's actually, well, a princess from the Uzumaki. And, well, their father is a prince of Konoha. Also known as, well, the Hokage. Not prince, but yeah, somewhat of a prince from the Namikaze. Of course, they met and had 3 children. Those 3 has all 3 of them has different color hairs. The oldest has orange hair, and of course, blue eyes. The middle child has, well, kind of reddish and highlight yellow hair, and of course, purple eyes, just like his mother. And then the youngest, well, it's a little different than the other 2. The youngest seems to have highlights of black hair but having yellow. But it looks like the yellow is mostly turning into black. His eyes are completely bloodshot. No, I'm just kidding. But really, they are kind of a reddish color. And of course, well, this is called Naruto. The oldest is called Enma. The, well, middle child is called Enma. And of course, this child is called Naruto Uzumaki. Of course, the Naruto still attack. And of course, Obito still fought against Minato. But this is where Hiruzen was the one to perform the, well, sealing. If something happens, the shinigami was summoned into the mortal world. The mortal realm. But something happened. When he was looking at all of the 3 children, he kind of has a special ability to see the future. A little bit. He is not pretty much the father of time. He's not a god like that. He's not that type of god. He's a god of, well, death. And kind of life at the same time. But he looks at all 3 of these children. 1 is going to be the savior of this world. He looks at, well, Enma. He looks at Enma. Enma is going to be something else, completely different, and kind of shocked. Well, the Shinigami, a little bit. He didn't care about the savior of the world. But of course, the last one, he widened his eyes. He widened his eyes because he saw clearly, so clearly into the future, such prophecy that he never thought that was ever going to come. Someone to bring the apocalypse into this world. Someone to bring the 4 horsemen along. Mostly, he is someone to rule over the world, over destruction and chaos. But he doesn't understand it much. He thinks that this boy might die along the way. But then again, how would this prophecy come? He decides to seal the 9 tails into 2 children only, Menma and Enma. He looks at Naruto, hoping for this prophecy to come, because he knows the 4 horsemen are very powerful. At the same time, he's not hoping, he is knowing what's going to happen. He didn't see much into the future why Naruto brought the apocalypse, but he has a feeling it's something to do with what's called despair. He doesn't understand, but of course, he decides to leave in an instant while taking Horusen's soul with him. Of course, Minato screams no, and of course rushes towards, seeing his children, Horusen's soul being taken away by the shinigami, and seeing the 9 tails be sealed into his 3 children. He kind of saw closer. Not 3, 2 only. Enma and Menma had the 9 tails 50%, but for Naruto, he was confused. We go into a little flashback. Horusen was trying to put the 9 tails into Naruto. Instead, the shinigami took both of the halves of the 9 tails, the soul, 50% of the yin, mostly not yin, yang, into Menma. And of course, Enma has the 100% soul and 50% of the yang. This is where, for some reason, Horusen could not put any chakra into Naruto. It looks like the shinigami refused to do any of that. This is where, Naruto's destiny is Naruto's destiny. Nothing would change it. Nothing at all. Of course, we go back into, present time for Minato. Minato was confused. But of course, he did not let that bother him. Instead, he took all 3 of his children and went towards the Hokage Tower. Of course, this is where it was decided that Naruto would be the one to kind of be chosen to be the Jinchuriki. Even though Minato lied and said that Naruto had the Jinchuriki of the 9 tails, he did not want to put his 2 his 2 children, the oldest and the middle child. Instead, he would just let Naruto burden it, even though he's the youngest. Of course, this is where, people were confused and wanted to see the seal on Naruto, because they were kind of a little suspicious why this young child, even younger than the other 2, was supposed to be this 9 tail Jinchuriki. Of course, the civilian side did not ask questions. They just didn't care. They wanted to beat up the 9 tail Jinchuriki user, or not user, the user, or host, or whatever the hell, the seal or prisoner, or whatever. But they did not ask questions about the other 2. This is where the clans did ask questions, but Minato silenced them before asking any more questions. This is where Danto kinda was confused, but didn't care. He smiles. This is where he realized that Minato's a bigger fool than he thought. This is where, we go into a 6-year-old Naruto. Naruto seems to lack many emotions. Reason why? His whole kind of being in the orphanage was all living in hell. A hell that he just lost all his emotions. He is 6 years old, but he's acting like a Ruambu. All the motionless, no emotions, no nothing. Of course, this is where, At that time, Jiraiya went towards, Minato Namikaze to tell him about the child of the prophecy. The child who will save the world. And this is where Minato was confused. And which child would it be? Would it be Enma or Menma? This is where he looks at his oldest, and his oldest is such a bright child. Enma is such a little bit quiet child. Well, yeah, because he has, mostly red hair. And highlights of kind of yellow a little bit, but not much. This is where, then he looks at the very, very youngest. The last time that he saw Naruto, he was so emotionless. Seems to not care about even the Hokage's presence. Now, Naruto has a chakra seal suppression on him. This is not the Naruto's chakra suppression. No, Minato had to bullshit the council members saying that he does have the seal of Naruto's. But this is not the Naruto's. Instead, it's a suppression on Naruto's chakra to suppress it fully. And of course, Of course, not let one single drop of chakra from Naruto to ever use. So Naruto's basically a normal civilian. A normal ass civilian that can't use chakra at all. Think of it like Rock Lee or my guy. So of course, Naruto is unable to use chakra because of that seal. Of course, Naruto was beaten up really bad, but every time he was beaten up close to death, he never died. He never really cared. He never screamed, cried, or anything. Maybe in his younger years, 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5 even, he just doesn't remember anything no more. Every person hates him. He doesn't understand why. For being only 6, he understands the meaning of life and death so clearly. People live for, goals. Some goals they have. Some goals are evil. Some goals are all this. Some people die to protect those goals. And yeah. But he doesn't understand. For being a child only a 6-year-old child, he understands everything so clearly. He understands people grief, despair, sadness, sorrow, and other emotions that he understands so clearly. All of these sad emotions, anger emotions, everything. Except for happiness. He doesn't understand happiness. He doesn't care about happiness. But of course, this is where, Naruto, he gets beaten up every single day. Now, of course, Menma, he thinks that he just has his younger brother named Enma. Now, Enma, on the other hand, he's a special case. He is actually smart and actually very intelligent. Of course, he likes his mother more than his father. On the other hand, Menma likes his father more than his mother. He likes his mother also, but mostly his father. Now, of course, Enma is actually pretty damn smart. While Menma actually follows his father's lead for other things and tries to be smart like him. Enma, on the other hand, does not show his, intelligence. It doesn't show anything. He seems to really not care that much. A lot of things doesn't really shown to be caring that much. He's shown to really not care at all to that many people. He only cares about his mother and his mother's well-being. He does also know about his younger brother. We go into a 6-year-old Enma. Enma was looking through Minato's papers. Of course, Minato was outside, kind of playing with, Menma. And of course, Enma was in Minato's office. Not in the Hokage office. No, in the office of, the compound. Enma looks around and sees a boy. A baby boy. And this baby boy was next to two other children. He noticed that the middle one was him. The oldest was, Menma. But the youngest, he doesn't understand. Did he always have a younger brother? He never understand. But of course, he did more research. More and more research. Finding out who is this boy. He pinpointed Naruto so fast. Finding out that this boy is named Naruto. And he can find out that this boy's name, full name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Now, of course, this is where, well, Enma does ask, well, Kushina. Kushina wasn't there during the Nine-Tailed Seal. She was kind of passed out and all that. So, of course, she didn't know about Naruto's existence either. This is where Enma says, Mother, where did we always have, or did I always have a younger brother? Or not did I always have, did I have a younger brother? This is where Kushina says, no, not exactly. It was just you and Menma. Why are you asking? Are you wanting to have a younger brother? This is where Enma kind of nodded a little bit. This is where Kushina says, what about a younger sister? This is where Enma kind of shook his head saying no. This is where Kushina frowns, but this is where she was happy to know that Enma wants to be kind of like an older brother like Menma. Now, of course, this is where Enma is just knowing that he realized that Kushina doesn't know anything about this boy. This is where he questions to ask his father. So he does. This is where when Minato is kind of alone in his office, this is where, well, Menma's asleep and even Kushina went to sleep. And it's kind of 10. It is late as fuck. It's like 10, well, not 10, it's like 12. And of course, Minato just doing some paperwork. This is where, well, he hears some knocking and says, come in, Kushina. And this is where he sees Enma. Now, Enma's eyes are purple and they kind of glitter always into the dark. This is where Minato almost gets startled. This is where not Naruto, Enma says, Father. This is where, well, Minato says, hey, Enma. This is where Enma says, did I always have a, well, not did I always, he says, did I have a younger brother? This is where Minato says, what do you mean? You're the youngest. This is where Enma says, but for some reason I feel like I have a younger brother. A younger brother that's probably tortured or dead. I don't know why I have that feeling. This is where, well, Minato gulps and says, what are you talking about, Enma? You're the youngest child. This is where Minato, he is scared. He's scared that Enma might be able to solve the fact that he has a younger brother. He's scared for that because he's the reason why he's sacrificed the youngest to the torture and cruelness of the villager. This is where, well, Enma says, so I never had a younger brother? This is where Minato says, no, of course not. This is where Enma says, got it. I understand, Father. Then I'm asleep. This is where Minato sighs. And this is where Enma actually saw the emotions of Minato. Sweat drops. This is where Enma's curious questions actually got solved a little bit. Seeing that Minato was nervous to answer those questions kind of shown to kind of, well, be some kind of lie that he's lying and some kind of truth that he might be telling. This is where, well, Enma decides to go to sleep. But of course, he goes to sleep, and of course the next day happens. But yeah, but we go into Naruto. Naruto has been sleeping in an alleyway. Nowhere, he doesn't really live anywhere. He lives in alleyways, dumpsters, and other places. His childhood seems to be going trash, dog shit, and even worse dog shit. He sighs, thinking that maybe his life is just meaningless, and there's nothing for him to do. Nothing for him to do. Until something happens. Something strange happens. For some reason, Naruto's eyes fully went into bloodshot red. And this is where, well, Naruto's bloodshot red eyes appears to be a black pupil appearing in his bloodshot red eyes, becoming just a star of some sort. And this is where Naruto, he then hears people going into the alleyway to kick his ass again. This is where his eyes are different color. And that's where he says, I see. Killing can be fun. I guess I kill for a little bit. This is where Naruto gets up so fast, dodges an attack from a kunai, and appears right in front of the Jonin head, ripping the Jonin's head off. This is where Naruto's eyes are still a black star in the middle of his shot red eyes. This is where Naruto goes to the other two and kills them in an instant. They were not strong enough to even defeat him. This is what Naruto says. Pathetic. Puh. But yeah. Of course, this is where, well, Naruto kills the Jonin level ninjas. They were there to beat up on Naruto again. But of course, Naruto's eyes changed back into normal. This is where Naruto was confused and seems to not really care about the fact that he killed some people. He seems to crack a grin, an evil type of grin, blood running through his mouth. Or well, not through his mouth, mostly blood dripping on his mouth, and he just licks it and says, delicious. This is where, well, Naruto decides to go lay down back into the cardboard box and decides to say, maybe I should kill people. That's maybe the reason why I should live. Why should I live anyway? It's truly interesting. Killing people might be fun, but having the consequences could be bad. But we go into a time skip of Naruto now being 9 years old. It's been 3 years. 3 years since that day that he killed. Naruto's been more emotionless and bloodthirsty. He's been more wanting to kill. Nothing but just killing. It makes his blood feel like, how should I say, excited. Every time he sees one stab wound, he gets into this crazy thought of killing people. But he doesn't understand why. This is where, well, Naruto has really seen no point in being in the village. He tried to go to the academy once, but when he went to the academy, people kicked him out and started trying to beat on him. Of course, Naruto really killed them all. And this is where, well, Naruto says, pathetic bastards, don't touch me unless you're ready to die. But yeah, of course, this is where, well, Naruto, we go into, well, not he is now just 9, of course. Of course, this is where, well, Naruto, he, like I said, went to the academy but couldn't. Of course, this is where, well, he has to somehow learn. So, of course, he always goes to, well, the library to kind of learn on some books. But, of course, he can never really learn on some books because he gets kicked out. And the books that he has hold on to, like hide under his jacket or coat or anything, because he does have a coat, a brown coat that he managed to find in like a trash or anything, because all his clothing are kind of just leftover kind of clothing after his killing. But yeah, his bloodthirsty killing. Of course, this is where, well, Naruto just doesn't care that much. He kills, he gets things for free after he kills him. He does it in secrecy mostly. He doesn't want people to know that he's the one to kill them, because more problems will happen. And after seeing him kill, well, after him killing a few people, he can see that, well, less people stop going after him. Instead, so many people are fearing not him, but who the killer is. Of course, we go, well, into another time skip of 3 years. Naruto's now 12. Well, something happened. Everyone decides to blame the killer to be Itachi Uchiha. After Naruto came like 10 or something and all that, people heard about the Uchiha massacre, even Naruto, and saw that Itachi might have been the killer, so many people thought. So of course everyone hated and despised Itachi Uchiha. Naruto didn't care. Of course, this is where Naruto at that time also met Danzo. Now, Danzo tried to use the what's it called, Shinsui's eye ability on Naruto to control Naruto. But one thing happened. That didn't happen. For some reason, Naruto's, eyes decides to destroy the Genjutsu in an instant. Something pulsated through Naruto's eyes. It didn't work on Naruto. Instead, Naruto just became more bloodthirsty and murderous. So of course, Danzo only gave Naruto a kunai that was from the Iowa kind of kunai to kind of kill anyone. Of course, every report mentioned that Danzo got from Naruto, or not even Naruto, the root ambus that were sent with Naruto, seems to be so gory and bloodthirsty. Danzo does not understand. He even tried to put seals on Naruto, and all those seals does is nothing. Naruto's so bloodthirsty and murderous. That's to where Danzo does not understand. He tried over and over to find a stronger seal, a stronger brainwashing. He even tried to torture Naruto, and Naruto enjoyed the torture. He laughed every time with this evil smile and laughter. Danzo does not understand. This boy is not a boy. He's clearly not even the ninth Jinchuriki. He looked through the seal. He saw the seal that was on Naruto's stomach. It was not the Kyuubi's chakra. No, it was his own chakra seal away. But this is not just no normal person. He even tried to use holy water, like a holy bell that the priestess were kind of blessed on to hurt Naruto. She tried to control him underneath, but all of those things were kind of useless. Naruto's bloodthirsty over the years. When he joined Ruamo, he was actually 9. Well, not 9. He was 10. But of course, this was Naruto. He became more bloodthirsty, more twisted-minded, and more everything. He learned it so much from the Ruambus, because the Ruambus, every Ruambu kind of had this fear around Naruto. This fear. Naruto was stronger, faster than anyone. Even with just a little bit of training, Naruto improved so fast. This improvement was so odd, so bizarre. Danzo didn't know why, but every time he hurts Naruto, like cuts him, stabs him, or anything, it seems that his body is actually regenerating at the same time, kind of making his skin tougher. Because the last time that Danzo tried to stab him with a kunai to torture him, the kunai shatters on Naruto's body. It seems that Naruto's body is changing, being kind of more tougher and more resistant to any type of torturing. This is where Danzo was confused, horrified at the same time. He even tried to send multiple Ruambus at Naruto to try to kill him, or not even kill him, just stab him and try to make him kind of fear Danzo, and that didn't work. No, Naruto saw Danzo not as the one that he should serve. No, he did not care about Danzo. Not one bit. He learned a little bit from Danzo. A little bit of how to talk normally. But of course, all the time, he stands up against Danzo. Not even stands up on purpose. He does it on accident. Because he still doesn't know any much English words or anything. Or not English words, just words in general. So of course Danzo had to somehow limit the learning process for Naruto. Somehow stop it, slow it down, so he wouldn't learn that much. He tries to even kind of brain damage Naruto, which it worked at one point, but Naruto's head returned back. It seems that this is not natural, supernatural to be more specific. This is where, Naruto's strength, his speed, everything is super unnatural. Just supernatural mostly. Not unnatural, supernatural. This is where Naruto seems to care less and less about people, seeing them nothing but just meat bags and also blood bags at the same time. This is where, what's it called? Seeing, all of them just blood bags and meat bags at the same time. Of course, this is where, not just that, but he did meet two girls. And when he was outside the Leaf Village doing a mission, he sometimes stayed a little bit too long on some missions. not just for the murder, but to also murder the root Ambus in a Pacific village that he kind of got very comfortable with. Well, this village contains of 3 people that he knows, or kind of 2 people. And, well, in other village, he knows 1 person. So, in this village is kind of the sound village, or not the sound village, the grass village. This grass village contains of a girl with kind of like silverish eyes and kind of like white hair. And of course, this is where, well, she is named Shoroi. Her, well, eyes are slick and of course seems to be dead like Naruto's. This is where Naruto kind of took an interest with Shoroi. The fact that she seems to also be kind of dead and emotionless like him. This is where, well, Naruto talks to her sometimes. Now, of course, they're 12 at this time. Of course, this is where, well, Naruto just beat her in the grass village one time when Naruto was killing some people in the grass village that were actually stone ninjas, murdering and easily ripping them apart. Now, of course, he did meet Shiroi, but he met someone else. Someone more, how should I say, this kind of presence to kind of be more evil than Shiroi. This person had golden, slick eyes, pale white skin, and of course, had kind of like snake features. Of course, long black hair. And of course, he was interested in the fact of Naruto. So he even tried to suppress Naruto's chakra more with the 5-element seal. And yes, they are called the 5-element seal. Don't bullshit me saying they are the 5 trigram element seal, because that's bullshit. That's not even the right one. That's, you're thinking of the 8 trigram element, well, not element seal, the 8 trigram seal that Naruto has for, well, original canon, the seal of the Nine Tails. And also, don't say it's a 5-point seal, because first of all, that's something quite the fucking opposite. The legit called the 5-element seal, you fucking moron. Search it up. I searched it up. I'm clearly a dumbass in some cases, but clearly I am not a fucking moron to say that it's not the fucking called the 5-element seal. So yeah, let me go back into what if before I go into another tantrum. This is where, well, he tries to put it on Naruto, and Naruto didn't feel any pain. He didn't even care. Instead, he thought that Orochimaru was trying to attack him, so he tries to rip through, well, Orochimaru. Orochimaru was very impressed and see how this kid is dead. His emotions are quite dead. And this is where he looks at Shiroi and Naruto and sees that they are both quite the perfect people to be working along together. He asks Naruto which village is he from. This is where Naruto says, don't have a headband. This is where Orochimaru says, do you want to come to South Village? This is where Naruto says, nah, I have to stay en route for someone named Danzo. This is where Orochimaru is interesting. Seeing that Naruto can care less about saying information, quite deadly information, towards a stranger, seems to just him not caring that much, but yeah. Now, the other village that he kind of went towards was a sand village to kill, well, not ninja. To kill a family that was actually supporting Iowa. And of course, after Naruto killing them, this is where, well, he met 2 people. One girl was with black hair and kind of like onyx eyes. And of course, this is where Naruto found out that she's an Uchiha. Her name is, what's it called? This girl is named Akari Uchiha. She is actually somewhat, how should I say, kind of the, well, she didn't say much, but her eyes are kind of dead and emotionless. And of course, she seems to not care much about people at all. Now, her only other friend is actually Gaara. And Gaara is also kind of cold and emotionless, but yeah. So, wait, her name is Kiyomi Uchiha. And, oh my fucking day. So, her name is Kiyomi Uchiha. And, of course, she is, well, an Uchiha that, also, if you heard that in the background, I'm outside because my dumbass sibling came back inside. But yeah. Her name is Kiyomi Uchiha. She's emotionless. Someone like Naruto. She has an interesting background story for Naruto that kind of understands her pain a little bit. But yeah, Of course, he also met Gara, and Gara's kind of emotionless. But yeah, he kills because he needs to, well, prove that he is worthy. Well, not worthy. Worthy enough to live. To express his, well, feelings by killing. Of course, he also did meet someone else in another kind of village, and it wasn't in the sand or even grass. He kind of met this girl in, well, the stone village, actually. Well, not the stone village, actually. He kind of met this girl kind of during when he was traveling towards, well, some kind of country that he went towards darkness. He met two people there. One was a girl with dope blue eyes and blonde hair. She was part of the Leaf Village before a kind of timeline. I'll explain about her backstory, but of course her name is Junko Kojo. So of course she has this kind of ability to feel despair and all that, and she did feel Naruto's despair, and it was large amount, large. Of course she was surprised, but yeah, and startled at the same time. Of course, the other person that he met was there was someone named Shinkai. Shinkai was this person that was able to use, well, deep sea blue color of water. Of course, his power of water was actually much powerful than any water style user, even stronger than Toriyama's. But yeah. Of course, I'm gonna leave it off here because I have to go inside because it's fucking hot out here. But yeah, have a nice potato day, potato night, potato soup, potato, and potato. Good night.